Hello, everybody. Welcome to the TechRaptor podcast. I'm Robert Scarpanito, your features editor.
I'm Andrew Stretch, your muted applause editor.
I'm Austin Soother. What does that even mean?
Well, we're gonna talk about.
Okay, I get it now.
Opening Night Live.
I'm a little slow, you see. I can't.
And how they weren't letting any audio through to let you know that people in the audience were actually enjoying what they were watching.
I mean, are we even sure they were?
Maybe they were all NPCs or CGI. Just
because at the start when it had the big, we'll just hop right into the discussion. At the start when they had the big Borderlands 4 trailer, and then it cut back to the audience and there was not a peep from them. I thought, wow, that's not good. And then they showed some actually cool stuff later and it was still dead silent. So I just think that the audio guy was coming in a bit late with the fade.
Maybe. But yeah, today we're going to talk all about Gamescom Opening Night Live. That just happened yesterday, actually, which we're recording this one pretty hot and ready. We're recording this on Tuesday night, right before you can hear this. But we saw Gamescom Opening Night Live earlier today. That's Geoff Keighley's, what would you call that, his off-season? Because he has like Summer Game Fest and he has the Game Awards.
Is Gamescom even his, or is it just that he has usurped presenting all video game events now?
I think if you ask him, it is his.
Why they get a Canadian guy to do it? That's my thing.
I mean, what do you have against Canadian? Like, Canadians play games.
Look, man, let me preface by saying I'm French Canadian in blood somewhere.
Why do you have French Canadian blood?
What I mean is, I don't know. It seems a little weird to get some guy going over to Europe to do it. It doesn't matter. I'm going to get myself in trouble.
I mean, he does bring Shocks out. I think every Opening Night Live he's done,
yeah,
right? And I think she's of Germanic descent, I think. But yeah, we're going to chat all about Opening Night Live. If you want a full rundown, that's not quite what we're going to be doing here. But instead, we're just going to kind of have a free-flowing discussion of the things that really stood out to us, the things that were interesting, the things that were questionable, the things that were eyebrow-raising, or maybe surprising at how unsurprising some things were. So yeah, like Stretch said earlier, Borderlands 4, I think, was surprising to me in terms of tone. I mean, like all over it too, but like the tone was so dramatic, so serious, so like space opera,
Yeah, they definitely like had big appeal. I think that was meant to be like keep you guessing. They didn't want to just throw a fart joke in and and not have that buildup of suspense. It is so insane that we had the Fallout TV show and everyone was saying, man, Microsoft really missed out and didn't capitalize on the really strong performance of the Fallout TV show with like a Fallout expansion or an announcement of a new game or something. And now we're in this bizarro twisted world where the Borderlands movie flopped so hard it's going to go down in infamy, and they're now announcing this Borderlands 4. I bet they were really hoping for like that synergy there, and it's honestly a shame that they're not going to get it.
I question that even a little, only because I think of let's say in a world where Borderlands the movie was received very well, it's still I'm here to kick ass and chew bubble gum. I'm here to make dumb fart jokes and talk about guns and I'm Kevin Hart. I'm short. That's funny. You know what I mean? It's like all about the dumb jokes. It's very jokey. So even if that all landed perfectly and it was a perfect summer comedy blockbuster, the jump to this trailer for Borderlands 4 would still have been very confusing and not in line with what you'd expect.
Yeah, I don't really expect them to deviate from the comedic tone of the other games, but I know that Borderlands kind of like, I feel like Borderlands 4 was the world's worst kept secret. Everybody knew it was coming out. So like Stretch said, they just kind of wanted to keep you guessing. Although I could tell pretty quickly what it was because it said it was a Gearbox game. So I'm like, okay, yeah, it's Borderlands.
They only have 2 games, Godfall and Borderlands.
Well, they have that.
I
they
had my
have
fingers crossed for
Battleborn.
Godfall too.
A little known gem, Battleborn.
Battlebjorn.
Oh no!
I remember. All right, I played the hell out of that.
Yeah, that's a hill you'll die on.
I'm not saying it's good. I just played a lot of it.
What does that say about you?
I have questionable taste.
That's true. Yeah, Battleborn, if anyone doesn't remember, is that kind of hero shooter thing.
Yeah, Overwatch just like murdered immediately.
Yeah, it was like a PvP thing. It was kind of like a MOBA hero shooter something. I don't know. Yeah. I feel like hero shooters have kind of had their moment, and now it's kind of like even though I am also actually kind of excited.
Sure about that?
Yeah, because the thing, Marvel Rivals is coming soon, right?
Yeah.
And I'm still excited for that, but then it's also like I'm looking at other hero shooters around, and I'm like, it's hard to be excited for a lot of them necessarily. But I know, Stretch, we've talked about Rivals on this pod before, and you are not not a fan.
I mean, it does seem like this is legitimately, and I hate using like game name killer like in a serious sense, but it does seem like Marvel Rivals is shaping up to be the Overwatch killer. Not to say that Overwatch hasn't done its own fantastic job shooting itself in the foot, but I think with the announcement that today, I believe it was that all characters will be free to play and all future characters will be free to play, and it's just going to be like battle pass and cosmetics and costumes that will go into it. That's a really strong place to put them, especially with the backing of like Marvel. it's hard to fight with that. It's like the only MOBA that has come into the space and been able to maintain any ground is the Pokemon MOBA. It's just like IP that much.
I mean, hero shooters and MOBAs are 2 different things. Like,
but I mean, in the space of like we've really had like 2 MOBAs, Dota and League of Legends, and a shit ton of other MOBAs have come and gone. The same with all of the different hero shooters, because there was like another 1 or 2 that was shown off during Gamescom. It's just like, okay, it's a hero shooter, and that's kind of like it.
They all just kind of blend in with the rest, don't they? Yeah. Except Marvel, but it's Marvel, so they have that recognition. It definitely helps.
Exactly.
Right. You see Spider-Man, you know Spider-Man.
Yeah. So I think that just with the power of IP, it may be able to stand the test of time and kick Overwatch off its perch.
Yeah. Because there was that other hero shooter that they showed off today, or I guess yesterday at the time of listening, Predecessor, right? That was built off the bones of Paragon or Paladin. No,
I thought it was Paladins.
Okay, yeah.
I know which one you're talking about, and I thought it was that as well, and it came up with a new name, and I'm like, this may be a new announcement. This may be something that was shown off at the last 3 It's just they all look so samey.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. Those didn't quite stand out to me, but I mean, I know Captain America, I know Bucky, and I'm dead ass excited for, like, I didn't know much about Winter Soldier before the MCU. I'm sure like many people, but I didn't know that apparently the Winter Soldier is basically the prototype man. You know the video game Prototype? His arm is just a tentacle. It's the fucking tentacle things that just grabs people.
Or Parasite? I forget. No.
Prototype. Parasite is the manga with the guy with the squid arm.
Yeah. I mean, kind of same deal. I got like Bionic Commando vibes with his like stretchy, powerful arm, which actually looks really cool. This might actually be one of my most like anticipated, or not anticipated, but one of my favorite announcements. And that just kind of tells you how good the rest of the show was.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was the big announcement is that it's coming December 6th, which is pretty soon, and it's already stacking up our year even more, which is crazy. But let me think. There is that one bit with the bionic arm thing you were talking about. I thought it looked pretty slick, and I also feel like it's gonna be hard to pull off, where Bucky like jumps off the stage and then pulls someone up to him, but then like boosts himself back onto the stage to make someone do a fall death. And I'm like, that looks hard to do, but that'd be
but you
cool.
know, people are always pulling that kind of shit with like Diva and all that.
Yeah,
like Lucio.
Yeah, it had a very like Lee Sin energy to it, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
But
Captain America looks cool too, I guess.
Yeah, he has a shield. Yeah,
he
throws the
throws
shield around.
Throws it a lot.
Yeah. But that's not the only major IP coming out in December. We also know the biggest indie game ever, Indiana Jones, is coming out in December as well.
That's a weird one for me. They took a weird approach with the announcement. I mean, I think the game looks good. The game looks fun. I think it's going to be very strange to see what kind of sales it does, knowing that there'll be a whole bunch of PlayStation 5 people who just like won't pick it up at launch. And I'm not sure, like, you know, there will be people who would have always waited, especially with all of the heavy rumors behind it. But from a marketing strategy, when we're continuing to hear, you know, Xboxes aren't selling well, you know, I guess we already know it's going to be Game Pass as well. It's just a bit strange to see, and not really sure what their marketing direction is. Or it might just be that like truly they're at the point of marketing where it is, we want people on Game Pass. We don't care about the console sales numbers. They might have just thrown in the towel for that for now.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It was a really interesting tactic to me too. The whole like December 9, 2024, it's coming out, right? Then it's like, oh, but there's one more announcement that Machine Games would like to share with you.
Yeah.
And the way they phrase it, I'm like, oh fuck, Wolfenstein 3, let's go.
that would actually.
I was waiting for that, and they're like, nah, it's just the PlayStation release. And I'm like, oh, that is weird to like make that your like a big moment, you know?
It's like they didn't want to put the Xbox branding with the PlayStation branding together on the Indiana Jones graphic. You know,
it's just. Yeah, I mean, you kind of summed it up really well. It's like this is the moment to reveal the release date, and the release date immediately gets come up by the PlayStation release date.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, that's a bit weird, but sure. Like, you know, I would almost say like if they said, yeah, it's weird. It doesn't really click to make sense at all in my mind. I'm sure that there are smarter people than I that made that decision, but it comes off weird.
Yeah, I'm not quite understanding it either. But I'm also thinking, like, looking at the gameplay itself, was this the footage that convinced y'all? Hell yeah, man.
I'm still confused by like what this game is supposed to be. Like, obviously it's Indiana Jones. It seems very cinematic, but I'm not really sure how like what's the meat of the gameplay. Like, it looks like you punch people and stuff, but that's like literally all they've shown with combat. Everything else seems like it's cutscenes. I'm just very confused by, you know, like how we're going to be playing it. It's going to be like Uncharted first person or what, you know?
So, yeah, I mean, and this may be the beauty of the marketing is that I know I'll put a few hours in because I subscribe to Game Pass. And like, I'm not at a point where I need to know, is this going to be like a massive game? Is this going to be a great game? Is this just going to be a mad game? Because it's like, I'll be there in December. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I think there's enough Game Pass subscribers, right? Where like Indiana Jones is a very recognized name. Like, it's very popular, very famous. So even people who aren't like the biggest fans of the franchise, maybe they're like, oh, like, I mean, that game is basically free for me right now. I'll see what it's all about, you know? And maybe that's what they're banking on with the PlayStation sales, because that's the one where that's like, we need to convince you need to buy this. You need to pay $70. There's no free trial, right? So maybe they're hoping like with the Xbox, when they release it on Xbox first, it builds a nice reputation of like, oh, it's Xbox's this is the God of War Ragnarok killer that we've been waiting for. And then all the PlayStation folks need to buy it, you know?
Yeah, I mean that could totally be it. It could be like a, hey PlayStation, pay attention. Our beta testers are gonna look at this game, and then you can figure out if you want to pay $70 for it.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's not coming out in December. It's coming out in spring 2025 because I'm not getting it on Xbox. Now, if they didn't announce it was coming to PlayStation, I would have found a way to play it on either my subpar PC or like borrowed my dad's Xbox. But I mean, now that it's coming in PlayStation next year, I can wait. So
yeah,
and it might even have like, I don't know, DLC or something with it, like to just kind of entice the players to give it a go on their PlayStation, even if they bought an Xbox or something.
Well, when it comes to PlayStation, I think Indy will get a Spider-Man skin.
That'd be so
PlayStation
cool.
Advantage.
Yeah. And that's quite the advantage.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So instead of a whip, you thwip. You thwip your way around the stages. Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the weirder moments. To transition to another very odd moment, Masters of Albion.
Oh, fucking
yeah.
Okay. So this, yeah, you set the stage.
I had done some digging and some investigative journalism, and by that I mean I was scrolling through Twitter, and someone very fantastically highlighted the fact that all of the mechanics shown in this are incredibly similar to Molyneux's NFT game Legacy that he tried to release and wasn't able to, including the ability to, your character in Legacy, would design a bike and it would be put on a circular wooden looking panel in front of you. And then you'd be able to access drawers and like grab and drop different handlebars and different wheels. So it seems like this has become a reworking, a remaking, and they have just shuffled this NFT game after it wasn't going to be an NFT game into a Fable themed game.
I just need to remark, I know, I feel like for a fact we have done a TechRaptor episode or two dunking on NFTs for sure. And that was within the past 2 years, and it's crazy how much what you just said feels like this old man bringing out this old ass technology to come and take advantage of it. You know what I mean? Like, it feels so decrepit now to think about NFTs.
Yeah.
Yeah, like nobody's buying the shit that he's selling. I think I saw everybody on Twitter being like, "Oh God, this guy," because obviously he's lied and disappointed us so many times, and I mean, Masters of Albion, just like there's something off about it, and maybe it's just because Peter Molyneux's name is associated with it, but something just doesn't seem right to me.
I mean, even that he stepped out on stage and said, after messing around on mobile, what the hell was I doing? And it's like, I mean, I understand you might not have had a great experience with mobile, but that's currently like leading the video game scene.
Maybe it's a you problem, actually. And also the UI for the gameplay that he showed off felt very mobile, right? Like to me,
it's
it
like
felt
one of those
like a mobile
mobile
game.
ads that you see on Twitter or something, like one of those fake games with the hand that does. I don't know. It's just, yeah.
And I was so like, what is this game? Is it a city builder? Is it a management of people? Is it a diner dash? Is it a Skyrim? Like, what the fuck are you trying to do?
It's clearly Fortnite Save the World.
Oh, obviously, of course.
Look, man, I just want to know if I get an acorn and plant it, if it will grow into a tree, because that's what he promised us with Fable. And
Did that
didn't happen.
It never happened, right?
I don't. Probably not. not in quite
reputation to overpromise and then never
yeah.
deliver.
Remember, I want to do this weird tangent. Okay, so I remember this one E3, and it was quite a while ago now, but it was when Kinect was all the rage, and there's this boy that you could talk to inside Kinect named Milo, and it was like this what seemed to be this hyper intelligent AI that would like respond to you and talk to you and Kinect, and then nothing happened to it. But apparently, you could like draw pictures and hand it to him, and it'd show up on the game. And apparently, a bunch of people were like drawing dicks and handing. And I don't know what happened to it, but that's another thing that I don't know what he was thinking or what the hell happened to it, but he was showing it off like he intended to make it a game.
It was the precursor to AI.
Oh yeah. So we have him to blame for all this.
Yeah.
It all goes back to Peter.
It always goes back to Peter Molyneux. I kind of surprisingly want to talk about Call of Duty Black Ops 6 for a second here. That game had a lot of different, like it had a big section where they showed off a lot of like campaigns and stuff like that, right? Like campaign levels, and they were like, what's it, like branching levels, branching paths. Did you notice that, Austin?
No, because I was looking at a different screen when Call of Duty came on.
Oh wow, okay. So yeah, there's moments in the like levels or in the campaign where you like make choices and it just totally branches out to be totally different things. Like there's one they showed where it's like, oh, there are too many guys there. Well, how are we gonna get out of this? Like we can't shoot our way out, and then you can just be like, we're gonna shoot our way out because it's Call of Duty and it's pretty easy on most like difficulty levels to make your way through a big shootout, even if you're outnumbered. Or you can like get on a motorbike with someone and like it becomes a chase scene sort of thing instead of a
that's kind of cool. It adds some replayability from the sound of it, but I mean it's nothing new to like games, is it?
No, I don't think so. But I mean, it's like, it's your classic, right? Like all the Call of Duty campaigns are about spectacle and cinema, and it's kind of interesting that they're bringing in that level of like, oh, you have a little bit of active choice now in your cinematic experience, you know?
Yeah. No, I did notice a lot of Bill Clinton, which was just weird for me because it's like a time I lived in is being seen as historic now. And it makes you feel a little old, even though I was very young when he was president. It's still weird to see Bill Clinton in a video game.
I hate to break it to you. I think we are living in historic times. I'm pretty sure you might have heard that before. But yeah, that it was weird for me seeing that too. It was even weird. Was it like Black Ops, like the first one, or maybe like it was maybe the first Black Ops? You see like Reagan in it?
Yeah, because it was like Vietnam, Cold War era stuff.
Yeah,
I think his like defense secretary, I don't know, I can't remember his name. He died recently, but like another.
Oh, Kissinger.
It obviously, Henry Kissinger, I think, was in there. I think JFK was in one of the Black Ops as well.
I think he was, yeah.
So I guess that's nothing new in terms of Call of Duty. Also, don't you find it a little weird that Stretch like disappeared when we started talking about Call of Duty?
Yeah, I think the Black Ops operatives might have gotten to him.
We're next.
We'll see when he comes back. But yeah, I don't know. I was weirded out by seeing like Clinton and like, I think, didn't we see Bush or a Bush? Maybe HW in one of the trailers.
The first Bush would have been president before, because it seemed like there's an election going on or something. So Bush Sr. would have been president, but I didn't really catch him.
Right. But I don't know. It was really weird because it felt like so serious, and like you were saying, weird to see like, oh my god, that's a real ass historical. Like, I mean, they were all real figures, but it's like that's one I am weirdly familiar with in my own life. But then also in the middle of some of the shootout scenes, it's like you throw a remote controlled homing knife that explodes.
Yeah,
and it's like,
that's cutting edge 90s tech, you know?
Yeah, that's a Matrix tech right there. I don't know. It just felt like, this is Call of Duty. This is a dumb.
Guys, don't worry about it. I fought off all of the Navy SEALs. I'm back. We can talk about Blops more.
Badass. Okay, another stupid moment in that trailer, because I did see it a little bit in bits and pieces. I just paid like half attention to it. I noticed this guy with a minigun starts shooting at the RC car. I'm like, that RC car is the most like impenetrable shit I've ever seen in my life if it can take 1,000,000 bullets from a freaking minigun.
Yeah, dude, that RC car has been the strongest entity in all of Call of Duty since like Black
It really
Ops 1.
has.
Yeah.
It's a classic.
It's like at the top of the tier list. But yeah, that's coming out October 25. There's like going to be an open beta, I think, in a couple weeks from now, like maybe that weekend after PAX West. So that'll be interesting to try out. It might be the first Call of Duty I jump back on in a couple years. We'll see. Yeah, I feel like it's always
Call of Duty. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm never going to go back to playing multiplayer. But if the campaign is like, if people are saying, guys, this is the coolest campaign that Call of Duty's ever done or whatever, then maybe I'll be interested because I used to play those a lot. But as far as the multiplayer goes, like, if every year is a new thing, it just seems like everything you're doing is for nothing, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's not an annual franchise for me. It's more of like, I'm in the mood for junk food. I'm in the mood for some McDonald's. You know, like I know what this is about.
Yep.
The zombies mode, if it's as good as it has been before, that'll probably take up a lot of my time. I do like.
I did hear that you can save during zombie mode now, so you can save your progress without having to like restart. Where I don't know if that's new, but I saw some people getting hyped about that, so that could be
that is exciting.
I don't know, something cool. Yeah. The last time I played zombies was like Call of Duty World at War, so I don't know.
Oh, like the very first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so surprised that have they ever released zombies as like a standalone game?
They had a mobile game.
Okay. Sure.
Oh yeah, way back in the day.
Yeah,
way back in the day.
I remember my friend playing that on the school bus.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I think they released Zombies Chronicles, which was like all-in-one DLC. So I think you still needed to own. It might have been like Black Ops 3 or something, like one of the main lines. But then you would have as close as you could at the time to like all of the previous Zombies maps all in one space. But that's the closest I can think of.
I don't mean to make this the Call of Duty podcast, but if they have Warzone as its own separate thing, why don't they just do that for zombies as well?
Which one do you think makes them more money, Austin?
Okay, well, I mean, you know, you don't know till you try, right?
Oh man, if you get to the end of zombies and it says, "Hey, $5 another life," go for it, dude.
Oh god, don't give them any ideas.
Swipe. We're gonna release the Xbox Series Z with a credit card reader right in the body. It'll be great. You can just do.
Are they
right
just
into your controller
now, right? Call of Duty Gotcha.
I mean, aren't there loot boxes basically in Warzone?
No, those are illegal, but you can have Gotcha.
Yes, of course. Well, yeah, I guess there is like battle passes, right? Because I know you can get some like they did Attack on Titan skins and weird stuff like that.
There were Gundam skins recently.
Yeah. Call of Duty's gotten very Fortnite.
Yeah.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
No, I don't. I honestly think one of the greatest things in gaming is that you can play as Super Saiyan Blue Goku with a gun and do, I don't know, any K-pop dance. You can do Gangnam Style as him. Like, I think that's the greatest thing gaming has ever done.
On top of Aaron Yeager's corpse.
Yeah. It's objectively the best.
I was really impressed at Gamescom with Hoyo versus offerings. I still think that it's astounding in the world of, you know, so many failed like live service games that they're actively juggling like 3 to 4 of them. And like the new world in Genshin looks great. You know, I'm probably not going to go back, but that game just continues to give for free, essentially. You know, there's the whales in the game, but like you can play it all and you don't have to buy into the machine.
But if you don't buy into the machine, you don't get the waifus and husbandos, Stretch.
It's true. You don't get as many waifus and husbandos. You can still get them.
They give you a little bit. First hit's always free. But no, I'm excited for like I don't even play Star Rail, but they're doing a Fate crossover on London Wayworks. And that also makes me want to pick it up because I love Fate and I've been going through the visual novel now. And it's such a weird crossover, but like I don't know, just whatever. It works.
Mm.
I think like Zenless Zone Zero is doing a Street Fighter 6 crossover eventually.
Ooh.
And then Genshin got Aloy from freaking Horizon. Who cares? But yeah, I've been playing a lot of Zenless Zone Zero like every day since it launched. So anytime I see that now, I was excited. Even if the trailer that they had today didn't really show anything new, they put a lot of effort into those trailers. So it's cool to see as a fan.
Yeah, I thought it was really smart of them too to show that that Fate crossover, because I think it was just like a JPEG, right, of like their two logos next to each other, and the release window was like next year 2025, like fall 2025 or something, right? And at first I'm like,
time to save up,
yeah, at first I was like, that's too far, who cares? But it's like, no, you need to start playing Honkai right now if you want to save up enough Prima gems or whatever it's called, and that to really cash in on your Fate crossover.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I might have to pick it up. Actually, no, I really I try to limit myself to one gacha game. Otherwise, it's just bad news.
Next week, Austin's on the pod. I have spent too much time on Honkai Star,
and too much money.
I am max level already. I don't know. For me, those free-to-play games aren't quite my vice, but Path of Exile 2, that I'm excited for. We got early access release date is this October, I believe, or November 15 for Path of Exile 2 early access, which I'm a little bummed it's EA, but also like, well, it'll still be fun. I don't know. It's building off of Path of Exile 1, which is already really good. So yeah, I'm all on board for it. It's just more, Diablo-esque. What more do you want,
More fun, numbers go higher gameplay. And feed that serotonin.
Yeah, and make the clickies go click click.
So I think I had to leave for a second during that part of the show, but it was my understanding that Path of Exile 2 was like just a rehaul of the first game. So technically, if you have like Path of Exile 1, then you would have Path of Exile 2, if that makes sense. But now it's its own separate game, or what?
I think it's kind of like a big 2.0 update, essentially.
Okay,
is kind of what it is.
So how do you do an early access for that?
Yeah, so I'm very curious how they're going to do that, right? Because I think I haven't seen very clearly what it means to like go from like if you have a character in Path of Exile 1, how that's going to transfer to 2 or not, but I also see that game as like every time I start it, I always start a new character because it's always been too long for me to remember what I was doing,
Yeah, that's fair.
And like it's a very seasonal kind of game. So to me, it's just I'm looking forward to more seasons with a more polished, updated way to play it, essentially.
Yeah. Well, I mean, on the flip side, you have Diablo 4, which, I mean, look, I like Diablo 4, but I don't think that trailer really did anything for me.
Was it not a 9.5 out of 10 trailer for you, Austin?
All right, I don't know what to say to that. I did make that joke to myself, but now that somebody else says it, it sounds a little worse. But, it just didn't really do much for me. I'll play it, I'm sure, but like, it just looked like more of the same. So I don't know if that's really gonna change. They're gonna cause people to go over to Diablo or whatever.
I feel like that's kind of the big hook with Diablo, right? It's the story may not change, the adventures may not change, but it's all about creating that new build, getting to the new season, starting from scratch. That's one of those, like, if you're someone who like lather, rinse, repeats through a game over and over and over again, that's kind of your, you're able to get into that a bit more. Like I played through Diablo 3 once, and that was great. And then I stopped again, and I saw all of the additional seasonal content, and I'm like, that's really cool, but I'm not going to play that.
Not for me, but that's cool.
Yeah. Got to be happy that all of the other gamers are getting cool stuff too.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm one of those, like, I treat those kind of games very seasonally, because I've put maybe like over 100 hours in Diablo 3. Could not tell you the story. Don't remember, don't care. Really don't. And I know it was a controversial story, still don't care.
I mean, I liked it. I think that's why I scored it as high as I did, but you know.
Oh, same for Diablo 4. I was talking about Diablo 3.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Diablo 3,
But
Black Soulstone shit. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Diablo 4, I played that recently. Like, when did it come out? Last year, right? I played it to completion. Don't remember. Don't fucking remember any of the story. For me, it's all like a click game, and you make the big booms happen, and you synergize your build, and it's really cool. And that's what I'm here for. That's why I treat those games so seasonally, because it's like, yeah, let's start a new character, skip all the dialogue, and just make the numbers go up as fast as I can.
Yeah, I was like a one done with the story, but I mean, I liked it for what it was. Hey, there's supposed to be a new class with this expansion, so maybe that'll be cool, because right now it feels like, there's 5 classes? So this is the 6th? I don't know. It seems like they were kind of sparse offerings after a while, because I played every class during the seasons, and I tried most of the builds to see what I liked, and so now it's time for something new, and hopefully it's good. I don't know. We'll see.
Hopefully, yeah.
I thought the offerings from Tarsier Studio looked very interesting. Reanimal, and we actually do have a preview up on the site right now from Aaron. That looked really cool, and then I was surprised to see the Supermassive Games logo in front of Little Nightmares 3.
Ooh, yeah. And you know, that's not the only place their logo appeared on this show. In the pre-show, there's a new Dark Pictures game coming.
Oh, is that? I loaded up Supermassive Games website during the show because I was like, I'm pretty sure they had nothing to do with Little Nightmares 1 and 2. And I saw that there were 2 entries that I had no clue about. And I'm normally up to date because I enjoy the dark picture anthology stuff. I was wondering when those got announced. Apparently I missed it by like 20 minutes.
Yeah. They put some interesting stuff in the pre-show, but yeah, there was a Directive 8020. That's super mad, like the darker pictures looking thing. But yeah, then Little Nightmares 3, I guess maybe they've just jumped on board for the 3rd one, maybe, or they're publishing it. I don't know.
No, according to like the internet, they're developing.
Oh,
so it's like Tarsier Studios is now doing Reanimal, and Supermassive has just come in to work on the threequel.
That is kind of interesting. But yeah, Reanimal did look fucking
gnarly,
creepy,
so cool, big like Baba Yaga vibes.
Does it remind you of your home of Australia with all the animals trying to kill you?
Yeah, that's all I needed was one of those deformed sheep to spit venom at me, and I'd be right at home.
Just a nice cozy blanket of venom. Yum yum. Yep. But yeah, that was very spooky, and yeah, you can check out our preview of it on techraptor.net. We were able to publish it right as the trailer went live, which is an interesting experience to do, but hey, it's pretty cool. I guess while we're talking about the pre-show, I kind of wanted to shout out one game I saw there, We Harvest Shadows, which looks like it's like a first-person farmstead kind of thing where you're taking care of your farm, and it kind of reminded me a lot of the farm in The Last of Us Part 2. If anyone knows what that is. And you have a dog, and you're taking care of the dog, but then you have to like take your shotgun out to fight any of the wild animals from the forest. But then it's also like spooky, and like it's a horror game, but sometimes maybe the horrors are really the things that are inside your mind kind of thing. So it's like this weird, like, at first I thought it'd be a cozy game, but then it's like it's a little more serious than that, and now it's like, it's like a spooky game. And I'm like, ooh, this looks like it's blending a lot of different vibes that I'm kind of here for.
So it's a solo developed game by a guy called David Wehle, Wehle, and he describes it as an anti-cozy game.
Yes.
So that means that you're exactly picking up on what the dude's going for.
Exactly. Well, yeah, because he had a little interview right after the trailer showed up where like he talked about the game. So I was like, okay, I'm kind of on board for whatever weird vibe this is. It could be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I have like two things. One of them was bigger, but first one, the first Berserker Kazan looked pretty cool. Like,
Oh yeah.
I guess it's set in the DNF universe, which is like a fighting game.
Wait, is it really?
Yeah, yeah. And as far as I know, it's single player, and it seems like it's kind of like your action RPG hack and slash type of deal. I just really like the style of it, and I don't know, maybe there's a bit of Souls-like vibes to it, but I've seen that one before. I can't remember where, but I always had my eye on it, and I think I'm even more excited now that they have Ben Starr voicing the main character. It has to be Ben because it sounded exactly like him, but my guess is that it's Ben Starr, and he killed his Clive in 16, so I'm sure he'll do good in this.
Yeah, it felt very character action to me. I think it leaned more like Bayonetta vibes than it did a Souls-like vibe to me.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I'm sure I probably could have looked up information on it. It's probably out there somewhere, but just based off the trailer, I would say you're about right.
But yeah, that did look pretty interesting. I'm surprised that it's a DNF thing. I feel like DNF is one of the. It's like that and Grand Blue always show up in places I don't quite expect.
Yeah,
because they're just weird universes with like all sorts of different media in it.
Yeah, and what DNF it's still going on too, but they're doing a fighting game for it, I think. And
DNF Duel.
I'm just surprised that that's still alive because it seems like it's not that popular, but it definitely has its like audience.
I mean, that's what I thought about Grand Blue, dude, and now it's like it's got its fans.
Okay, so So I didn't know this. DNF itself, DNF Duel is a spinoff of Dungeons and Fighters.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is like a mobile game, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
There's several layers to it. It seems.
Seems like they're taking the same approach that like those two like side League of Legends games did.
Yeah.
Branching out to maintain those same characters, but how can we tell a different story that's more relevant to that particular character and not just have them be in this space?
Right.
Yeah. I've actually noticed like this trend of these mobile game developers that make like gacha games or whatever are starting to not churn out, but just make these like really high quality looking single player titles. That are like AAA, so like Grand Blue, like Stellar Blade, and I assume this, and I'm seeing one at PAX. I don't know if I can talk about. I'm pretty sure they announced it, but I'll just be safe. It's like another mobile spinoff that looks like it's pretty damn high quality, which is pretty cool. That they're putting that gacha money to good use.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if it's kind of the same strategy as like how every anime you watch is just an ad for the manga.
Well, yeah.
I kind of feel like maybe that's kind of the same idea here, right? Like all these high budget AAA pretty looking games are just an ad to get you to the real moneymaker.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, like I actually tried the Grand Blue mobile game, even though it's completely different from the console game.
You are the ideal consumer, Austin.
I am. I fought the gacha urge.
But I think overall, the thing that I was most excited to see from this show, weirdly enough, I want to quickly just say that the Batman Arkham VR game looks like the antithesis of anything anyone would want out of the Arkham universe.
Yeah. That's the thing you're most excited about?
No, that was the thing that I was least excited about.
Oh, okay.
The thing that I'm most excited about is the TV anthology series Secret Level. That came out of absolutely nowhere. It's done by the same people who did Love and Robots, right?
I believe so. Robots? Yeah, that's like a Black Mirror-esque anthology series, all animated by like different teams on Netflix, I believe, right?
But the fact that we're gonna get like we're gonna get 15 different episodettes. We don't know how long these will be, across Armored Core, Concord, Dungeons and Dragons, Mega Man, Pac-Man, a bunch of PlayStation stuff. It's such a weird and fun idea, and it's probably smarter than greenlighting, say a season of a Halo TV show or something.
Yeah, or
Yeah,
a
I mean,
season of God of
Halo,
War.
imagine. Well,
But that'll be fun. I reckon that'll be
scrappy, but
that'll be an entertaining little watch.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like half and half on it because I feel like for me, anthology type stuff, I don't get that invested in them. So
you don't have to watch the whole thing. Just watch what you're interested in. Like if you don't like Pac-Man, you can watch freaking Armored Core or whatever.
How dare you assume I would like Pac-Man less than fucking Armored Core?
I mean, do you?
No, I would fucking kill to watch a Pac-Man. I would watch a realistic depiction of Pac-Man eating dots.
I'm actually kind of I wonder what they're gonna do with Pac-Man because Blur Studios, I think that's the creator of this or something.
Yeah, Blur Studios and Amazon MGM Studios.
Yeah, so they're known for these like very realistic cinematics for games. Like we saw that a couple months ago with Concord, and I guess they're doing a separate episode for that, and a bunch of other cinematics you've seen before.
Yeah.
So I don't really associate cartoony with their look necessarily. So I wonder if Pac-Man's just going to be like this fleshy horror thing devouring ghosts, and I don't know what the yellow pellets are, but that'd be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we got to see like a silhouette of Mega Man in the trailer, and he looked, he looked more like the proportions of Mega Man X, or I'm hoping it's not box art Mega Man, because that would be horrific, and that would be very sad, because I would love more like good Mega Man serial entertainment.
I am kind of hoping it's box art Mega Man now.
I
still deeply want
do
that.
too.
Yeah. Like he's a monster, and he goes to Dr. Light. You created me. You made me this monster.
They do it like a Rick and Morty interdimensional cable-esque humor.
Keanu Reeves is in it, by the way. He's in the Armored Core short, apparently.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's
cool. He's probably going to die at the end.
No,
he'll fail to hit the eject button on his massive controller.
Somebody killed his favorite mech, so he's about to go crazy.
It's just one of those robot dog toys from the 90s. You like hold the bone up to the nose and its LEDs make a smile.
Oh, dude, those are actually cool. Also, there's Spelunky. Like, that's kind of interesting.
I didn't read off the full list, but like Spelunky, Outer Worlds, Unreal Tournament, Warhammer 40K.
That'd be cool.
And just PlayStation. It's weird that they just list PlayStation in the
PlayStation.
Yeah. But they don't say specifically who. I think we saw God of Kratos in the trailer. So
Concord.
This might finally be where we get more Ape Escape.
Hey, that'd be pretty cool. Some realistic looking apes escaping.
That is a 15-minute animated anthology thing. I reckon could do pretty well.
Yeah,
potentially. Yeah, I mean, it's all on Amazon too, and I feel like most people have Amazon Prime without even thinking like, oh yeah, and I have like the TV part of it,
You mentioned Warhammer, and I'm not like a huge Warhammer fan. In fact, I've only played a couple games, but what I do know about Warhammer is that it's pretty fucking cool. And so imagining like a bunch of Space Marines, which we saw in the trailer, like, I don't know, just doing their thing, I think would make for a really cool episode. So hopefully that's what we get.
I think that there was an interview about the upcoming Space Marines 2, because it's like a three-person party game.
Yeah.
That in a recent interview, someone involved in the game's development was asked, why 3 and not 4? And they said, because if it was 4 lore-accurate Space Marines, then it would be too broken. Man, it's too hard.
Yeah, and I'm actually excited for that game too. And again, I'm not a Warhammer fan, but it just, I don't know, something about it just seems like dumb fun.
Dude, just a chainsword. That's you don't need to defend yourself, right? Just it's a chainsword.
Yeah.
That's all that matters, dude.
And
I
like
love
just
Gears of War.
like
Yeah.
fanatical religious like crazy zealots that go on a rampage killing chaos. I mean, what's better than that, right?
Yeah, it really is just like satire and dumb badassery taken to the extreme.
Yeah.
I think for me, they're probably my thing I'm most excited about is a very different vibe completely. Civ 7, that was hell yeah. I am here for Sid Meier's Civilization 7. They even had a little like after Gamescom, like a little 20-minute video from the Civ folks themselves to like dive deeper into the game. So I watched that too, and I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be cool. It's coming out February 11, PC and consoles simultaneous release, which is like an interesting choice. I've never thought. I know the past Civs are out on like Xbox and PlayStation and stuff. I've never really thought of Civ as like a can't wait to sit down with my controller to play the game, you know?
Yeah.
But it looks like they're taking a lot of pages from Humanity, that one, was it Sega published Civilization clone looking game, where so now you don't just play as Gandhi from the start to the end. Like you each age, there are 3 ages now in every game, and each age you choose a new civilization. So you start as like, you know, Egypt, but then maybe like partway through you transform into like Greece or something, you know, just based on like the era of that moment, what makes sense for your civ, like who was Egypt connected to when we were going from like, you know, the pyramid era to like the age of exploration, that sort of stuff. So it's like kind of neat that it's like breaking out of the mold of like you play as one civilization from beginning to end, because that's like in reality like not how most history works from most countries. Like Germany wasn't Germany since 3000 BC. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's cool. I wonder if you're playing poorly, you know, you might get overtaken by a different nation, but now you control them.
Well, is that how it works? Or
I feel like that's a loss. That's a loss if you get taken over, I think.
Yeah.
Allow you to continue, you know, mercy rules.
Yeah.
I think I get what you're saying, but also like it almost sounds like if you're switching civilizations to different ages, all you've done in the first age is for nothing. But that's not how it is it? It's like
no, you carry over certain benefits from what your civ. So each civ has like future carrying benefits. So it's even if by the end of it you're like America, you're going to be a very unique version of America because of the civilizations you chose in the early and mid game, because everything carries over.
Can go from Egypt to Greece to America.
They haven't laid out, there's probably like a full tree of like which civs can go to what, but they said it's going to be a mix of both, like historically somewhat makes sense, like your neighbor, like a neighboring nation or something, or just like whatever is the most useful for your game at the moment. So I don't know.
Sound cool.
Yeah. Oh, and Christopher Tin's back for the music. He did Baba Yetu in 4 and the one in 6. He's like the first Grammy award-winning video game composer kind of guy. So I'm very excited for the music as well.
Seems like there's a good amount of RTS games in the future. We have that Age of Mythology is coming out pretty soon. Next month, actually.
Well, Civ is turn-based. Technically, I know Don will get this for that. But
sorry, you're right. No, I kind of associate these civilization building ones as like very similar. I mean, they do share a lot of the same elements, but if I say that, I'll probably get like murdered or something.
I mean, they're all generally strategy games, like grand strategy.
I suck at all of them, so.
Oh, same. I'm awful at Civ, but I fucking love the concept. Like Civ is one of the few video games that gives me hope in humanity. Just like watching their cinematics are like, man, humans have done some cool shit. It's
I thought that game had a lot of nukes and stuff in it. That gives you hope.
No, but the cinematics are like, we went from like clacking stones to make fire to like steam engines to see the whole world to satellites to see beyond our atmosphere. Like that's cool.
I mean, to be fair, Spore did that pretty well too.
Yeah, it all goes back to Pete. It all goes back to Pete.
Damn it, Peter Molyneux got us again.
So I want to ask before we kind of wrap up, is there anything that you guys were really hoping to see that did not show up? What would have been like your wish list? I would have loved to have seen this.
I don't know. I didn't really go into it having a wish list. I think anything that I want would come from Nintendo at this point. We know they're not going to be there. So I just kind of went in with no expectations.
You just want more museum tours.
Yeah.
Dude, I would take that museum tour every day if I were in Japan. That looks so cool.
I don't know. I guess maybe something from PlayStation, because we got the big Xbox thing, I would say, for this year, right? I think Indiana Jones is the big Microsoft bank, what they're banking on. But nothing from PlayStation. Not that I'm like worried about, like, I'm sure whatever PlayStation reveals next is like probably going to be somewhat interesting at least, but it would have been neat to see it here.
Yeah, that's fair.
Do we know, aside from Concord, do we know anything else about what they're, I guess we've got Astrobot.
Yeah, Astrobot's coming down the pipe soon. I think like
Game of the year, baby.
Yeah, like Sucker Punch is working on something, but who knows what.
Aren't they working on Ghost of Tsushima 2? Like, didn't they say that?
Have they confirmed that? I don't know if they have.
They need to call it Ghost of Tsushima.
Don't do that.
Ghost Tsushima.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, we don't know what they're working on next, or Sony Santa Monica, even though, I mean, that like Ragnarok didn't come out that long ago, you know?
Insomniac.
Yeah.
Are they doing anything?
No.
Death Stranding 2.
Oh yeah, Death Stranding 2, that's coming. I wouldn't have I expect to maybe see something about that at Game Awards. But yeah. I feel like historically, Kojima hasn't done much with Gamescom, even though it's Jeff's show there too.
By the way, I'm stupid. Of course Insomniac's doing something. They're doing Wolverine next.
Yeah.
Could have been a cool opportunity, but...
Yeah, it could have been cool to see Wolverine there, but also I'm like, Insomniac lands their hits more than they miss, so it's not like I'm worried about...
They could have no PR cycle, and it would show up, and it would be a sellout hit.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, but I don't know. Is there anything else that y'all have seen at the show that you were like, oh, I want to speak to it?
I think it's funny that Netflix keeps not understanding the message behind Squid Games.
Yeah, that I hated that. I almost thought about putting it in my notes, but I'm like, nah, this is dumb.
It's so funny that we've now got, the series that was great, like, oh yeah, you don't need capitalism, ignore the machine, yada yada. Oh, we're gonna do a game we're gonna do a game show with real contestants, and we're gonna put them in the challenges for a prize money.
And now here's a Fall Guys reskin.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty dumb. Actually, Don't Nod's new thing, the Lost Records Bloomin' Rage. That thing, I'm excited for it, but I'm also like, man, this is just Life is Strange without calling it Life is Strange, huh?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a bit like when Supermassive did Dark Pictures Anthology, Dark Pictures Anthology, Dark Pictures Anthology, and then they did The Quarry, and then they did another Dark Pictures Anthology, and it was like, why didn't that get the name? It's the same fucking thing. It's the same format and story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, not to like pigeonhole them. I mean, I know, they've tried other things too, but it just felt so Life is Strange to me,
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was Life is Strange, even though I know that there's one coming out. I mean, they've done a million spin-offs of it too, it feels like. So
yeah, but they haven't developed all of them. Like, I think the new one that's coming out soon is also Deck 9, I think. Not Don't Nod.
They're kind of they've kind of a little bit become a more in-depth Telltale from like when Telltale was at its heyday. So that's nice to see. There is still an extremely strong place for that kind of episodic narrative storytelling.
Agreed. And to bring this all to a close, I want to end where we began, where we talked about Indiana Jones and how the ending, like, it was kind of undercut with like, oh, here's the release date, but then here's the PlayStation release date. Did any of y'all feel like the true finale of Mafia: The Old Country, did that stick? Did that?
I forgot
the
that
landing. Did that land for any of you? Did it feel like a big one more thing?
I mean, I think Mafia fans are excited, but I haven't played Mafia, so I just okay, cool. You know, that's all it was.
I was a huge fan of Mafia 2. I really dug it, and I wasn't even a huge fan of like GTA 4 and 5, but I really enjoyed Mafia 2. Mafia games after that I played, and it just never clicked. So I think that they're smart to try to go back to that very traditional mafia vibe. So I hope the best for them, and this will probably be one that I check out as well, because it'll be more in that vein.
Yeah, I mean, I've never played a Mafia myself, but I don't know. I guess like when I'm thinking of it just as a show, it didn't quite feel like that exciting. Oh, everyone's going to talk about the man, that surprise drop. It wasn't, the Elden Ring reveal in 2018 or 19 or whatever it was,
Yeah. It's kind of hard to beat Elden Ring, though. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But that's also true for the DLC, isn't it? It's hard to beat it. But
nice.
It's not the best.
Gamers suck. I get it.
True.
But that's our last message. That's our one last thing of this episode. Gamers suck.
I mean, hey, we've just been presented with the life work of a whole bunch of people that will keep hundreds of millions of people entertained for the next year and a half. And we're shitting on Masters of Albion for looking like a reskinned NFT game. We're kind of trash. I'll call that. I'll call.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Peter Molyneux's. That's all I need to say.
Just doubling down on it. Well, thank you so much for listening to a bunch of trash people spew their trash opinions about Gamescom. That's the new name of our podcast. The full thing. That's going to be our new
podcast.
Yeah. If you enjoyed what we did here, feel free to leave a comment down below, like and subscribe. Hit, I think Spotify does ratings now, or leave a comment down there and let us know what was your favorite Gamescom announcement. Or is there anything you're really excited about, or is there something that you were hoping to see and did not see? We'd love to know your thoughts down below. If you want more from us, we do a newsletter every week. It'll be in your inbox on Fridays. If you sign up on our site, I usually write those, but Stretch has also helped writing out some, so you'll have us kind of tag teaming some of the news for you, and we just give you a quick digest of what you might have missed in the last week. Otherwise, we're at techraptor.net, and this show will be back in your feed next week, and we will see you then.